we'll be joined by Mike Rowley. He's the president and CEO of Group 10 Metals. They're developing and exploring the Stillwater West project. Mike, thanks for joining us this morning. Really good to see you again. It's been too long again as well. I can't wait to go back to physical conferences and see everybody again. It's just weird seeing everybody virtually. It just does not work for me. But Mike, thanks so much for joining us, and looking forward to your presentation and what you guys been up to lately and what you're planning for this summer.
You bet. Thank you. It's going to be a transformational year for us. We're very excited. Here on the screen, you have a picture of the drill team 2019. And that was, of course, the year we confirmed our Platte Reef model in the Stillwater complex. We're back now, our fourth year on the ground. We're about to debut resources, and I look forward to sharing that with you today. It'll be our biggest program yet. We're excited. I will be making some forward-looking statements. Group 10 has 3 district-scale land positions, each one 100% owned completely. We made these acquisitions in the bear market of the cycle. Each one adjoins world-class mines deposits, and in each case we've got a great database, a good team, and we're bringing some new geologic thinking. With that, you've got the potential for world-class discoveries, and as you'll see today, our focus is very much on the Stillwater West project. It's basically everything we're going to talk about. The other 2 assets, I'll just touch on them quickly right now. They're effectively for sale at this point. It's part of our focus on Stillwater. In Ontario, we have the Black Lake Drayton Gold Project. This adjoins Treasury Metals. And in the Yukon, we have the Kluane PGE Nickel Copper Project. This adjoins Nickel Creek Platinum. Both fantastic assets, low carrying costs, and we're looking for the right deals at the right time. Stillwater is the one with the database. It's the one with imminent resource estimates, our first on the project. And as you'll see, we're about to embark on our biggest program with a view to expanding on those resources. Management team is veteran with a proven track record. Greg Johnson as chair. He brings that Nova Gold pedigree. Saw that from 10 cents a share to $2 billion in market cap. And that model holds on everything we're doing here and in the broader metallic group. Bear market acquisition, 100% ownership, district scale, North American asset, and a big footprint that would interest a major that we can see through into an improving market and do the right programs to add a lot of value. They did that at Nova Gold. We hope to do that here as well. Myself, I've been in the industry since 1990 and in exploration since 2002, and I founded Group 10. Worth noting Gordon Toll here. He joined the board just recently and is part of raising more than $5 billion and building some truly big mine projects globally. Glad to bring him in, and it's the strength of the Stillwater asset that attracted him. He is, of course, ex-chair of both Ivanhoe and Fortescue as well. The technical team is similarly world-class. Dr. Craig Bowe, we're pleased to bring him back to Stillwater. He was underground there in the 80s, and he's been all over the world on similar magmatic ultramafic systems. Mike Austenson and Justin Madru have been working this ground, different companies, for 20 years now, and they gave us a lot of our database, and they bring important continuity to that database as we bring this new thinking in from the giant mines of South Africa to the district. And the last name I'll call out is Dr. David Broughton, the past chief geo at Ivanhoe. He's, of course, credited with co-discovering their Flat Reef deposit on their Platte Reef project. And his early validation here, to have him join our team 3 years ago now, and give us that early validation that this does look like Platte Reef and the setting is correct. And some early exploration insight was invaluable to us at that early point in the project. The Stillwater District is one of the largest and most productive magmatic systems in the world. These are rare, especially when you consider not only size, but productivity and metal content. Being magmatic, it is fundamentally a nickel and copper sulfide system. So this is the kind of battery grade nickel that Tesla and others are looking for. Nickel sulfide, of course, converts relatively easy and cleanly with a low carbon footprint to nickel sulfate for batteries. The district is known for the wealth of its palladium platinum mines. We have the highest grade mines in the world beside us. They also recover a small amount of rhodium. We feel we've got significant rhodium and over good widths as well. And that's particularly strategic in North America, as there's very little mine supply of rhodium in North America. Cobalt as well. As your viewers likely know, that's 80% of it's in the Congo, and we're pleased to have it in a co-product capacity at Stillwater. We have good exposure to gold on 3 levels: drill defined high-grade gold at Stillwater, also more broadly in that Platte Reef style basket across Stillwater, and then also the Ontario Gold Project, separate from that. In terms of value split, we are primarily nickel palladium, and with the others as co-product values. And in terms of green metals that are subject today, the Future Metal Conference, nickel, copper, cobalt, of course, well known as battery metals. I would also include platinum in that battery metal basket, given that it is still the catalyst of choice for producing green hydrogen by electrolysis, and then also consuming that hydrogen in fuel cells, as we're seeing increasingly in heavy machinery and even haul trucks at mines, trains, that kind of thing. And then the PGEs in general, palladium, platinum, rhodium, their primary use, of course, is in catalytic converters for cars, cleaning exhaust emissions. So with that, our objective is to become a primary US-based source of low-carbon battery metals and PGEs. We're doing that in a district that already has 3 mines and a smelter. In fact, our ground was mined for high-grade copper even 100 years ago. Highly prospective, and it's worth noting that 5 of our target commodities have been listed as strategic by the US, as critical by the US government. That has to be meaningful going forward. Our land position is unusual among juniors. It's rare for a junior to share a district like this with a major. In this case, it's Sibanye-Stillwater, currently market cap about $13 billion. They bought the Stillwater mines for $2.2 billion, of course, in 2017, as we were making the acquisitions shown here in yellow. The Stillwater District is one of the largest magmatic systems in the world, and it looks a lot like Bushveld. It's a layered magmatic system. It's known for the JM Reef deposit, currently 87 million ounces at nearly ½ ounce per ton grade, with lesser amounts of nickel, copper, and other commodities as well. Past production is over 14 million ounces at those grades, so total over 101 million ounces to date and counting. It's a 40-kilometer long deposit, averages 1.8 meters wide. It represents one layer of that magmatic system. So this speaks to the volume of metal that was in the magmatic pulses that laid down the complex here, which we're basically seeing on edge as they've been tipped on their side. They operate 3 mines and a smelter complex off the screen to the northeast. We own that portion in yellow 100%, and it's a big position for a junior. In these layered systems, in the upper portion, it's the correct setting for the narrow, higher grade reef type mines that are conventionally the source of the world's PGE metals. The bulk of the mines worldwide, especially South Africa, produce in these deposit types. Our neighbor's reef deposit sits there in that stratigraphy, and our Picket Pin Reef deposit is well documented above them in the upper portion of that banded series in green. Our focus is on the lower portion, the basal and lower series in the oranges and purples. And this is the correct setting for Platte Reef style deposits, bigger magmatic events, and a bigger deposit model as well. Large bulk tonnage copper nickel sulfide systems enriched in PGEs and gold, and in our case also cobalt, which they don't get in Bushveld. Economies of scale kick in to make these attractive, and in addition, it's an attractive mix of commodities that includes not only nickel and copper, but also PGEs, and that's very rare globally. Examples include Mahalaquena, Anglo American's mine, Ivanhoe's Platte Reef Waterberg's, or Platinum Group Metals Waterberg, 400 million ounces total in the Platte Reef District, South Africa, tens of billions of pounds nickel, copper, and that shows the scale that we are ultimately looking for here at Stillwater. Soils light up with mineralization, as you might expect, since the mineralization starts right at surface, just under that soil layer. We've got a number of untested, very high-level anomalies for both precious metals and battery metals, and we have that gold target at Pine that we're now working on expanding, drill-defined high-grade gold as well. We have a terrific database, and our compilation work to date has led us to these 6 reef type target areas in red, all multi-kilometer in scale, and the 8 plat reef style target areas shown in blue here. And again, all multi-kilometer in scale. They're defined by conductive highs as shown here in purple, and you're getting a look at the drill database, which currently includes about 215 holes to date. The Chrome Mountain Camp and Iron Mountain areas are the focus, and those are the resources that we're now working on with release expected this summer in a month or two. Crescent is also shaping up as an advanced stage target, and there's that high-grade gold pine. The next slide will focus on results from our 2020 IP survey in the area shown here in the black rectangle. This is probably the most important slide in the presentation. It's one of the newest. This went out in late April. It's the 3D model results from our IP geophysical survey we did in 2020. This was pivotal for us. Even the guys that did the survey said that they'd never seen anomalies this strong and this large. And they hold together remarkably well, even on wide line spacing in the survey. In pink, you've got chargeability at a very high cutoff of 45 millivolts per volt. And in blue, you've got conductivity, also at a high cutoff of 50 ohm meters. The scale we see here is truly impressive. They're holding up across 9.2 kilometers, and the data only falls apart in the middle there where the line spacing gets over a kilometer. We see fantastic correlation between the chargeability and conductive anomalies. We also see it reaching to depth there at 800 meters in the Chrome Mountain area, where the model lets go. And the key point, the key takeaway is that our developing resources are shown here in yellow as drill-defined mineralization. We've used the 1 gram platinum cutoff. The correlation we see there with the chargeability and conductivity is fantastic. And it paves the way for a terrific expansion of the resources that we expect to debut this summer. It confirms that mineralization is in fact nickel and copper sulfide, enriched in palladium, platinum, rhodium, gold, and cobalt. And that same survey led us to some new magmatic horizons that had never been drilled before, multiple actually. Some like the one shown here at Chrome Mountain, 8.5 meters at 1.1% nickel, plus other values, adding about a further 60% in value. That's a really nice hit of high-grade nickel with what appears to be good metallurgy, certainly good nickel tenor. And that follows other hits that we had in 2019 drill campaign at Camp and Iron Mountain. In each of these areas, you'll see we generally get 300-400 meters at a good bulk mining grade, 1-2 grams platinum equivalent. And then within that, 50 to 100 meters of higher grade, a good underground bulk mineable grade, for example, of mineralization. And then within that, an even shorter, more selective mining interval, perhaps 10 meters, even up to 30 meters. So we've got good optionality on possible mine methods, and we're seeing really good indications. We've confirmed that plat reef model, and it's correct for the setting here. Shown on this image is the JM Reef deposit as the red line there. That is the surface projection of our neighbor's deposit, Sibanyes. That's the 101 million ounces. And of course, they're mining in the East Boulder area, just to the north of us there at Chrome Mountain. So they're about 2 kilometers underground there. That's very encouraging for our efforts, and we see terrific potential to expand this. For 2021, we just announced the arrival of the first of 3 planned drill rigs. We are planning a 10,000 meter program with 3 rigs, essentially focusing on those developing resource areas. We're looking to expand those quickly, and we may even be able to debut an expanded resource in 2022 based on success this year. We certainly are excited to apply what we learned at Chrome Mountain last year with these IP results to Camp and Iron Mountain this year, as we have not drilled those areas with the benefit of this IP survey in hand. We're also going to do an expanded IP survey and go off the east and west ends at Pine and Crescent, and we'll do some infill as well to complete the survey. So we've done a lot in 4 years. We've ramped up very nicely from the initial acquisition in 2017. We proved the model in 2019 and started modeling those resources. 2020, we drilled Crow Mountain, did that marvelous survey. And 2021 will focus on expanding the resources that we plan to debut here this summer. Upcoming news, we've just closed a $6 million placement. We look forward to announcing the startup programs, those resource estimates, and updating other projects as well. In the market, we've got 8 million cash at present and visibility to a total of $21 million when you include 13 million in the money options and warrants. Recent share price, we're sitting about 64 million market cap, and that is, we think, a bargain relative to what we're onto. And if you compare us with our peers and comparables, there aren't really any in North America is I guess, part of the pitch in that regard. Good shareholder base, management associates hold a good portion of the company.
Fantastic. Mike, I do have to jump in here.
Sure.
I think this was super comprehensive. Really appreciate it. And stay in the chat, because I do have a couple follow-up questions as well, especially now that you closed that financing, how your shareholder structure changed. I do want to talk about that as well. So thanks for joining us, Mike. This was fantastic. Good luck in